All right, I'm excited. Here we go. We're starting off with the beginner's newbie timeline. What we're going to do is go through the whole process of meeting a random stranger, then go through getting comfortable with what to say, how to get her relaxed, comfortable with you, making her laugh, how to get comfortable getting physical, then moving on to things like escalation, as well as how to seal the deal, how to get the number, and how to move things forward, take her home, and get things done back at your place or her place. Then what we'll do once we get through the whole process, through the rest of the videos, is we're going to do the same thing all over again, the full beginning, medium, and middle, medium, whatever. And we're going to go through that process at the average, intermediate level, and then we're going to do the same thing again at the advanced level, which is the really hardcore shit. So if you're watching this right now and you're worried that it's too basic and it's stuff you've heard before, whether on my website or you've seen it in some other products, don't worry. We're going to hit the next level shortly and then go beyond that. With that said, if you've heard it, it takes like 5 to 10 times of hearing something till you really rack it in your head. And a lot of the skills that we'll be talking about here, number one, they're all going to build off of each other. So I think it's very important, no matter what your skill level, to definitely watch all these videos. And number two, I think it's very important too, because you always come back to stuff at new levels. You go all the way through. A good example would be when you learn martial arts. What they say is when you learn a specific form of martial arts, you get the black belt and then basically start over. And you know how to do all the kicks, you know how to do all the blocks and everything. But what you do once you get the black belt is now you learn when you've fallen to the left how to do that same kick. And when you're falling to the right and you have two people, how to deal with that. So now that once you have the fundamentals, you see the same thing and it means something completely different to you. And a lot of times the first time you hear a concept, you might not have the reference points or the right experience to actually really understand. When I get a guy on program and he's never done a cold approach before, basically the whole first night what we're going to be focusing on is just getting him to learn how to be social. Learn how to bridge the gap of seeing someone that you've never met before and making it feel like you've known him for 6 months and the commonalities that go along with that and feeling comfortable around him and just being able to be yourself around that person. Whether that be a girl, sometimes guys, ugly, hot, whatever the case may be. I'm just trying to get him comfortable approaching and getting that out of the way. So if I think about why most guys don't even approach and get to that point, there's a lot of reasons why we don't approach, and there's a lot of reasons as you get further into this. There's more inner game and weird shit for reasons that you don't approach at that stage of the game either. And I'll get into those later on. For me, if I think about when I got into this and I started gaming up girls, picking up, cold approaching, I feel that a common thing that I saw in myself and other people is this weird couple month gestation period where you start reading all this pickup theory, you start meditating on it, and then you get your game plan, you get your tactical plan for when you go out, you see that girl, and you think about it, and you think about in your head the perfect approach and the perfect pickup. So you think about the perfect line to say to open up, and you figure you're going to have to plow for a little bit there. So you need a couple stories to get it going, and then she's going to say this, then you'll say that, and then you'll go and get her number, and then you put the phone in your pocket, and then you'll keep talking to her, and you'll make out with her, and then you'll lead her around the bar, and then you'll get physical, and then you'll take her home, and you stack all these things on before you've even done an approach. So the first step of what you need to do, and what I do for guys on boot camp, is I just throw them into the deep end of the pool, and you just need to get out there and get an approach under your belt. Start getting some approaches under your belt. I still remember my first approach. It was crazy, but afterwards, once I did it, I was like, oh my God, I feel so much better now. Another thing for the newbies too, is people aren't gonna be mean to you. It's usually when you get to the intermediate level, watch out for that for our intermediate crowd here, is that's when you actually start getting the mean rejections. When you're shy and kind of uncomfortable in that environment, people aren't mean and gonna tell you just to get away and fuck off type shit. They'll see you and they'll think that you're like a little child, a little bunny. And they go, oh, that was cute. Well, sorry, but have a nice day. So in your head, you're all worried that it's gonna be this crazy, harsh blowout. She's gonna reject you really hard. And that's just not gonna be the case. As you get better, that happens, and we'll learn how to deal with it and actually use that to our benefit. So even if you do get that now, it's good to kind of get some experiences, because what we'll talk about later in the program is how to use those harsh rejections where she says fuck off and all those different things. I would rather have her responding somehow emotionally, even if it's negatively, as opposed to just pure apathy where she just doesn't give a fuck and completely ignores me. That's something I can't work with. I can work with the negative. And what I want you is to start getting used to those punches, getting punched in the head a bit, until you get comfortable with it. So go out there, and again, I don't want to say this to have you be afraid, because it's not going to happen. The worst case, usually what happens, another reason guys don't approach is because they're worried that everyone in the club is going to see you approaching, and it's this weird thing. And number one, other people approach too. It's not a weird thing. Even though you might think this pickup thing is weird, it's not weird. It's actually pretty cool, because you're gonna find a cool girl, and you're fucking cool as you work on yourself. So she should be happy that you're coming up and talking to her. And the other thing is, when people see you from the outside, at worst, it looks like you own the place or you're some promoter, and they think you know everyone. Or the other thing is what is usually a rejection? It's usually you go up to the girl, and she listens to you, she looks at you, and she just turns her head. And there's times where I'll see the student come out of the interaction, and I'll ask him, how did it go? Did it go well? And he'll say, no, it went horrible. She didn't even listen to me. She just turned her head. And me seeing this every day that I go out and being an expert at this stuff, teaching it, I still didn't even realize it. So you think some random person from the outside who doesn't know who you are is going to be able to tell that, oh, that was a serious rejection. It's very rare that you'll get the drink spilled on you or any of that crazy stuff. It happens literally once or twice in your career of doing this. I don't even think I've ever even had it's definitely never happened where I got slapped or drinks or any of that shit. But in your head, because you have all these, you see it in movies, or I don't even know, you're just afraid that all this crazy shit's going to happen. It's not. I already tell you this now. Just get out there and start getting those experiences. They say you'll learn more from one rejection and actually going out and doing it than you will from 1,000 hours of reading books and meditating on this shit. So just get out there. No matter what the skill level of a guy I have on my program, the opener he's going to be using most of the night, most of the weekend, is the default, hi, my name's Brad. Insert name. And the reason why I like that is not that I think it's the best opener or anything like that, but what I think it does is it proves to you that it's not the words that are creating the attraction or creating the good initial response. It's the subcommunication behind that. So what I want you to do at the end of this video, and I'll explain again at the end, is go out tonight or go out the next time you're out, before you even watch the other videos, is to go out and get some approaches under your belt and just use that as your opener. The other one that I like, if that is even too hard for you, there's a couple other options I have. The one level, what it is just go indirect. For me, I basically escalate my opener as the night goes on. It's very hard, unless I've gone out a lot, I feel that it's very hard for me to go up to that first girl and say, hey, you're fucking gorgeous, I want to talk to you. Later on in the night, it was 2 a.m., I feel very relaxed, very comfortable. If I've done a lot of approaches already, it's going to be very easy to go pretty direct. But earlier on, maybe what I'll do is throughout the night, I'll escalate my approach, escalate my opener. So the first approach of the night, it might just be asking them a question. Hey, oh, you know what time this place gets busy at? Yeah, oh, that's cool. Well, have a good night, right? So I might just ask a question like that. And the thing, when I'm asking something that benign, that indirect, easy, I'm not trying to game her up. I'm not trying to build attraction. I'm just starting to get my mouth moving and get comfortable being social in a social environment. So I don't care what the girl looks like. A lot of times the first couple approaches, I'll throw some guy in. I'm not even looking what the woman looks like. I'm just trying to get him in to get comfortable. And they'll come back and say, oh, she wasn't that hot. I didn't really like her. She was a bitch. And I'll say, dude, what the fuck? I don't even care. The point is not to get with this girl here. The point is just to get comfortable being social and comfortable approaching. So when you go out, that's the problem, is a lot of guys, they go out and they see girls and they're kind of into them, but they don't think they're hot enough, so they wait around for the super hot girl. And in the meantime, they're getting more in their head. And what ends up happening is 2 a.m. rolls around, they finally see the hot girl, so they're like, no, it's my time. They roll up, say to her, hey, you're cute, what's your name? She freaks out, and they go back home crying, it didn't work, what was Brad thinking? I'm not saying to do that. What you need to do is start building momentum right away. You make a decision basically that first second you get into the bar, get into the club, And each decision stacks on top of the next decision, which stacks on top of the next one. So if you get out there, you get through the entrance, you see that first girl, and you decide not to talk to her, you've already basically diverted in one direction for what your night is going to be. So the goal, what it is really quickly when you get out, is to start getting in the flow. Usually the way that I say, I'm not super crazy running around with a chicken like my head cut off, is I'll get into the bar and get into the club's environment, and I'll do a walk around, spend a couple minutes, and kind of eye up the situation, see where the girls are at. Maybe there's some over here, there's some over there. Go maybe get a drink quick, and then I know within 5 to 10 minutes, I got to get out there and jump in the ocean, jump in the cold end, and get my feet wet. So I want you pretty quickly, within the first 5 to 10 minutes, to get out there and start approaching. Again, I don't care what you approach with. The goal is not to get a good reaction. The goal is not to get a bad reaction either. The goal is just to go blah, blah, and get your mouth moving. So I think what happens a lot of times, what guys do, is, as I was saying before, they stack so many different things on top of each other of what they think that first approach is going to be, that they build it up so much that the outcome dependence that comes along with that. They have the specific outcome that they want. They want the girl to react well, and they think it's going to go all the way through, and they put so much effort into it that it's bound to blow up in their face. What you need to do is lower your criteria for what you want out of the interaction. And as I've been hinting at, my whole goal at the beginning of the night, my only criteria, my only goal is to approach. It's something that I can control. It's my action. It's an action-based goal. And the response of the woman, whether it's no response, great, or shitty, I don't really care. I just need to get out there and warm up, get in the flow. They're called warm-up sets for a reason. You're doing warm-ups just like if you're playing soccer or anything else. So get out there and just get those first approaches out of the way. Another thing I always say is the first 5 don't count. So the first 5 approaches that I do, what happens is I'll have some guy, he's never done an approach in his life. He goes up, talks to some girl, it goes all right. Maybe she talks for 3-4 minutes. She's kind of receptive. And afterwards, he comes back. He just leaves. It's 10 p.m. No one's even talking to anyone else anyway. And he comes back, and he's totally hard on himself. And he's telling me, oh, my God, I forgot to get physical. I probably could have gotten her number. And oh, my God, I can't believe I had bad eye contact. I'm like, dude, chill out. First 5 don't count. The first 5 sets, the first 5 approaches, do not count. Your goal is just to get in there and get flowing. As the night goes on, your whole night is building towards the end of the night. Don't think of this girl right here and think that I need this girl right here. These girls are just all stepping stones. So when 1 a.m., 2 a.m. rolls around and everyone else is getting receptive, everyone else is having a lot of fun, you're in that same headspace and everything just beautifully comes together nicely. So what I want you to do, like I said, get comfortable just with the introduction, opening just, hi, my name's Brad. And as you get moving on from there, then you can work on some of the more complex ones. I personally, what you'll realize, I'm very idealistic when it comes to the words don't matter. But I do think most guys feel most comfortable going situational when they open. So usually what it is, if you think back the times that you did end up talking to some girl, and you didn't know about pickup, let's say, or you're just doing a random approach and it just somehow happened, it's usually something situational. Like she's a friend on the bachelorette party, and you ask her, hey, why are you wearing that headdress? And she's wearing some weird tiara type thing. It's very easy to start a conversation and make sense. It's logical. And I think that's great. I think if you have something situational come up, definitely go with it. The problem is those times where you don't have anything situational to talk about, and it's very obvious that you're just going up because you want to get with her. And as you get more towards the advanced skill set, I want you to make it very obvious. And even at the newbie level, the beginning level, I want you to still make it pretty obvious as you get more comfortable with it. So I do, although like that being said, here are a couple situational openers that I really like. If you have nothing, you see here, and you're like, I got nothing here. What can I use? One that I use a lot is, hey, you look fun. I like that one because it's almost like a double bind. No one's going to be like, no, we're not fun. But at the same point, a lot of times when you say, hey, you look fun, they'll come back and say, yeah, we are. Oh, well, how's your night going? And it almost amps it up and starts it off in a really fun place. I used to say ones like, hey, you look bored. But the problem is if you come across poorly and they actually are bored, a lot of times they'll just be bitches to you and say, hey, we are bored. Get the fuck out of here. Blah. It might not be that serious. But a lot of times you don't want to reinforce a boring type frame, and it's like telling a girl she's tired. You don't want to say that because it just doesn't sound good. You want to say she's beautiful, right? Now, one last little tip that I want to mention too for guys that are still having a hard time fully committing and getting out there, approaching, getting comfortable. What I like, it's a mini set, short set, kind of mini approach technique. There's really no name for it. I kind of created it myself, I guess. And what I'll do is when I get into the club, I'll just kind of walk around and I see people doing specific things. And I'll just kind of throw out something there. So let's say I see a guy with 4 girls. I'll say to him, hey man, looks like you're the popular dude here. Haha, have a good night. And I'm not even waiting around for a response. I'm just kind of throwing stuff out there to get my mouth moving, get yelling. And sometimes what happens is they respond. So let's say 2 girls walk by. I can just look at them and say, you guys are fun, cool, and keep walking. But if all of a sudden they turn and say, what did you say? And they ask me a question or something like that, all of a sudden we have an interaction started. But my goal is not even to get reactions out of them. I'm just kind of walking around the venue and just spouting little shit off and seeing where it goes. It's almost like throwing a fishing line out there. And if something bites, it does, but cool. I'm just kind of throwing bait out either way just to kind of get comfortable, get in the flow. Until I don't want to do that all night, obviously, though, because if nothing happens, boom, I'm going to have to get there and actually approach. There's 3 things that I talk about consistently, and I've talked about this for years now. And if you can master these 3 things when it comes to the approach, 80% of the time, it's going to go well. I guarantee it's consistently. I've seen this over years now of hundreds and hundreds of clients. If they do these 3 things properly, they're going to 80-90% of the time, the approach is going to go really well. So what does it mean? What does it mean to go 100%? And what are we trying to control here? Number 1 is eye contact. If I'm looking at the camera as I am right now, and that is my girl, I want to have full direct eye contact right at the girl. Hold that shit. Just fucking hold it and hold it. Don't blink. Hold the eye contact. I think a lot of guys have problems holding eye contact, maintaining it, most likely because they feel that if somebody was looking at them that way, they wouldn't really appreciate it. It wouldn't be very nice. Usually when guys hold eye contact with another guy, it's like antagonistic and very like they want to fight each other. It's aggro. But for women, as I said way before, women respond differently than men do to things, and they're attracted to different things. And it's very authoritative and high value to be able to hold that eye contact. And just, it puts her on the spot, and she feels really good about it. There's something, what I'll do with some of the videos of seeing me approach, is that what you'll do is you'll stop the clip, and every time I stop the clip and I see myself looking at the woman, that split second that you approach, always, 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 she looks at your eyes and sees if you're legit. Is this guy comfortable with himself? Is this guy staring at me? Is this the type of guy I want to talk to? So I'm going to make it a very obvious thing at the beginning of the approach to really hit the eye contact hard. I remember back we were in Vegas. We have an annual World Summit event in Vegas, RSD does, where all the instructors get together, we party, hit it really hard. And I remember one time we had this corner table and my friend brought over all these super hot Vegas girls. And I go up and I knew my eye contact was really sick. It was going really well, but for some reason it wasn't hitting. And I didn't realize that the whole time I was wearing my pimp shades, which I got right over here. I got the pimp ass sunglasses. So I go up to her, I'm like, hey, you're fucking cute. What's your name? Come over here. And I'm talking to her, and for some reason it's not really hitting well. And I didn't realize that I had the stupid sunglasses on. So boom, I took the glasses off, and instantly I could feel the interaction shift. It basically went from her just having fun, enjoying it, more without me, to all of a sudden, things just got real, things just got serious. Here's a high value, cool, high status, awesome guy, and I should be paying attention here. Literally one of the hottest chicks I've ever been with. It was awesome. I ended up pulling her out, and we went to the bathroom in the Encore Hotel. Fantastic. Although it ended pretty quickly when one of the purple suit authority guys pulled me out, so I'm kind of sad about that. But anyways, it just shows the power of the eye contact. So what I want you to do is to hit that eye contact really hard and maintain it. With that, I kind of clump that together with just making it very obvious that you're approaching. In the past, what they used to teach 5-10 years ago with this pickup stuff was having you kind of go indirectly and go over the shoulder. And the ideology behind that, the theory behind that, is that if you make yourself put yourself fully out there, you're making it obvious that you like her. And they assume that's a bad thing. They assume that you're showing all your cards. But no, that's not the case. What it does is shows you're confident. It shows that you're used to talking to girls like her, and it usually goes well. You're able to be vulnerable and put yourself out there fully. So you go with the full eye contact and just make it very obvious. Hi, here I am. I wanted to talk to you. Guys will ask about if there's more than one person there. How should I approach? Should I approach them all? Should I approach this one? I say just go right up to your girl. Be willing to compromise the friends and be willing to almost make them mad at you just to show to this girl that you want to talk to her. Again, since we're in the newbie timeline here, it's not going to be like you're going to go up and just like, boom, here I am, because you're just getting comfortable approaching. But the more obvious you can make it, the less over the shoulder and sideways and half turned. A lot of times I see guys and they'll be talking side to side with the woman, and what it is because you're just not putting yourself out there. You're not making yourself vulnerable. And if the girl kind of turns her head away and rejects you, it just looks like you can just walk off and it's no big deal. I want you to make it really obvious that you're going in and approach. The second thing with the eye contact was number 1. Number 2 is going to be projection, being loud. So making sure she can hear what you say. One of the worst things in the world is you start off and her response is, what? So I always want to err on the side of being more loud than I think I need to be to get through, to cut through. Because basically what you need to do is she's in a club, she's in whatever the environment is, even if it's during the day and she's just thinking shopping, and you need to make your stimulus, which is you, the force you are, stronger than the stimulus of the environment. So if she hears some music, she's dancing, you need to be louder than that and more intense in a way that she responds to you and turns and she's fully into you. So number 2 is going to be being loud, the projection of your voice. And number 3 is going to be the tonality. And I've hit this one hard before too. I wrote a 40 page ebook just on tonality, talking about why it's so important, what's the right type of tonality, and how to use it. So without getting too in-depth there, the things that I want to mention with it is 1, if you hear how my voice is right now, it's very authoritative, downward slanting, and that's the direction you want to go, especially at the beginning of the interaction. My whole goal is I know that, okay, so as I've said before, she sees me walk up and she gets an initial impression, but until I've actually interacted with her, she doesn't know how to respond. So what I want to do, and she doesn't know what type of person I am. So my whole goal that first couple minutes is value. I want to slap her in the face with my vibe, my aura, my awesomeness of just being like, hello, I'm awesome. Value. And the number 1 way to convey value is through the tone of your voice, in that authoritative, commanding tone. So I said before what I want you to do for the self-monitoring things. There's 2 things that I want every newbie, beginner guy to know on his own. He doesn't need some expert there. He doesn't need a friend. He doesn't need to ask a friend, hey, was that 100%? And the other one that I want him to start realizing is his tonality. He shouldn't have to ask, is my tonality good? Is it good? Right? That's obviously bad tonality. That's the slanting up, which I call trying for rapport. So the reason trying for rapport is a bad tonality is because when you're slanting up, it means you're outcome dependent and it means you want something. And it's a low value headspace. Usually the only people that talk in trying for rapport, it's because they're like a waiter and they want a tip. Can I get a tip? How is your meal? Or they're a beggar on the street. Please give me 10 cents, please. And the same thing happens when you go up and you talk to a girl. Hey, you're really cute. How's your night going? That's awesome. So the goal is to stay away from the trying for rapport end at the beginning of the interaction. Later on, if you're just having a conversation, you're really excited about it, then it's totally cool to be in the trying for rapport. The main thing I want you to be able to self-monitor is, was this 100%? Was this approach 100%? What were the 3 things that I talked about for approaching? Number 1, eye contact is number 1. Number 2, be loud. And number 3, the tone of your voice. With the opener and with the approach, the tone of voice, being loud, the eye contact, being very open, these things, it's so little incremental things that no matter what level you're at, if you're a beginner or you're advanced, I still focus on the approach the first night. No matter how good the guy is, we're still going to be focusing on the approach. Because the difference between me just saying, hey, what's your name? And hey, what's your name? The hey and hey, I don't even know if you can hear the difference. For me, that hits harder and it opens better. And I know that even the more and more I work on this, 5, 6, 7 years into this, even working on the opener more and that initial approach, that is going to set the whole interaction. So the way that I've even had girls where, because of the way I approach them, literally months and years later, the whole filter of the relationship was built off of that initial approach. The fact that I went up like a boss, hit it hard, told her, hey, I'm awesome, what's your name? And went in there very direct, made it very obvious. It's that power of that direct approach. It conveys so much value, so awesome. It says exactly the type of guy you are, and she's going to respond in kind. And everything after that, everything changes. So all those questions about, well, should I be humorous? Should I be nice? Should I be alpha? Should I be masculine? Whatever the case, first you need to convey that value. And then after that, everything is good. You can be however you want. You fuck it up, you say something stupid, she thinks in her head, oh, the cool guy acts a little stupid sometimes. Oh, he's quirky, right? Whereas if you go in at first and you do it before you get the value, then she's just going to think you're a weird, creepy guy who says the wrong things and put his foot in his mouth. So the goal, number one, I got to convey the value. I got to convey that value, number one. It's my only goal to start off the interaction. How do I do that again? Boom, the value slap. You. Obvious, here I am, direct approach. So try it out. Get more comfortable, more and more comfortable, making it very vulnerable, 100% putting yourself out there. Again, one last time, what were the 3 aspects? Eye contact, hold it at all costs, no matter what. Hold that eye contact. Somebody pushes you, maintain eye contact. 2, be fucking really, really loud. And number 3, get comfortable using that tone of voice. Get comfortable in the commanding tonality. One last thing I want to say also about the tonality is some guys, what they'll do is they'll go in, they'll be really good at the harsh, breaking rapport, hitting the commanding tone, and they'll just keep doing this. And the girl, all of a sudden, she starts talking to him, and she likes him, and she'll ask a question, and he'll respond like this, and just keep it like this. And as I said before, the commanding tone, for me, directly is the easiest way to convey value. But once I have the value, I can relax then. So once the set is hooked, once the interaction is hooked, which basically means she likes me, she wants to keep talking to me, then I know I have enough value to get with her. Not to get with her, but to have a decent conversation. So I don't need to worry so much about the tonality. I can be much more neutral in a basic conversation. So don't be worried in your head the whole time about your tonality. It's just in that initial approach aspect that we're talking about right here where it's important. All right, so the next step, what we're going to talk about is the hook point. So we've got the approach out of the way, and what I want you to do is write in the comments section if you have any more questions about the actual approach at the very beginning, if you're just starting off, and I'll answer some of those questions. But now, once you get the approach, boom, approach, value slap. The next step, you get it to hook. Usually what happens is if you approach 100%, you approach well, the vast majority of the time, the interaction, it's already hooked. So guys, when they say, oh, I can't get all my approaches to hook, the girls, it just doesn't feel like it hooks. I don't really know what's going on there. What the problem is you didn't go in hard enough. If you would have went in hard enough from the very beginning, like I said before, that 90% of the time, it's going to go well. There is that 10% of the time though. And it's for me to the point now I've had enough experience where that 10%, I don't even think about it. And I want you also to get comfortable where if you feel in your head, if you go in, you talk to the girl, the interaction doesn't go well, and you think in your head, well, that was 100% for me. I really was loud, I had really good eye contact, I made it very obvious, and she just didn't like me, then cool. You knew that, you learned from it. Don't take anything else away from that. Don't think, oh, what was the proper thing to do? If I look at myself a couple years ago, some of them, let's say they're semi-hooked to where the girl's kind of still there, she's kind of somewhat intrigued, but you don't fully have her yet. She isn't fully investing. She isn't asking you questions and enjoying your company. It's just it's not comfortable. You feel like there's a little bit of tension still there and you haven't fully hooked her. And usually what that is because you still didn't go in super hard. You went in probably your 100%, whereas as you do get a couple more years experience, that 100% almost shifts to where it's even more solid. And then what you have to get into is the concept we call plowing, which basically is where you are doing most of the talking, if not all of the talking, and she is really giving you nothing to work with. To get past the plowing point, you're going to need to know what to say. So in the next video, we'll break that down, get into what the words mean, the subcommunication behind what you say, how to own everything, have amazing stories, amazing conversation, and get her laughing at pretty much everything that comes out of your mouth. It's going to be pretty kick-ass. So I'll see you in the next video.